Good evening and thank you for joining us on Newsweek tonight, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the news in the last 7 days. I am Kemi Fola Adeyemo. More than 50 days after they were abducted from the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in Afaka, Kaduna State, 27 students of the 37 abducted regained their freedom this past week, and sources say the students were set free after millions of naira was paid in ransom to the bandits and a convict released in exchange. And these are trying times for Nigeria as the nation battles to stem the tide of rising insecurity, with the police coming under severe attack in recent weeks. From Imo to Abia, Anambra to Rivers states, the situation comes amidst growing concerns that Nigeria isn't just under-policed, but the country's police is also in need of policing. Welcome to the program. This week will not be forgotten in a long time to come for the kidnapped students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in Kaduna State who returned, to the explosive joy of colleagues and families. We have details in this report.
They were held captive for 57 days. 39 of them were abducted on 11th March, and 10 of the students were later released. Their kidnap came after some schools were attacked in Niger and Zamfara State. Another university in Kaduna was later attacked by bandits and 23 students taken away. The remaining 27 spent 57 days with their abductors. When they arrived at the headquarters of the Kaduna State Police Command, they were not looking healthy, but the government says they will be attended to.
That the remaining students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization are here with us. Like you know, they need to undergo a thorough medical examination.
500 million naira was demanded by the bandits as ransom for their release. It is unclear whether that has been paid, but the government wants them to consider their experience as a motivator for a better nation. Lupe Asom, TVC News.
And that's how we begin our conversation this evening. Studio guest at this time is Uzonna Onoye. He is the executive editor here at TVC News. I also have Dennis Amakre, a security consultant. Gentlemen, it's good to have you both. Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to begin with Uzonna. The issue of the Afaka kidnap kept the newsroom buzzing here at TVC News. For you, as a keen observer and participants in the news gathering process on this issue, what are the key areas of concern?
First concern was that the students stayed close to 2 months in the hands of the kidnappers, and we noticed that some of them were not properly dressed by the time they were taken out, because 24 hours after they were kidnapped, the kidnappers made a video which they made public, and we discovered that some of them returned still dressed like that. So we suggest that for close to 2 months they may not have had their bath, they may not have changed clothes, they may not have had any form of care. That will only give you an insight to what their state of mind would have been as at the time they were being returned. Secondly, the way and manner the entire thing was treated, while the parents ran from pillar to post crying and seeking help, it appeared the government was calm and pretended as if nothing was happening. And then when they were freed, the statement there is that they are with us now, we are going to give them the care. They should consider what they went through as a motivator. It underlines the fear that the life of the average Nigerian amounts to barely nothing these days, That's just the things that are staring everyone in the face. The fact that schools are being deserted now and locked up, just the way Boko Haram wanted it from the beginning, is of huge concern, because when we try to look at what Boko Haram stands for, it says that Western education is forbidden. And people said it's not possible. But gradually, government by themselves are shutting down schools because the students are no longer safe. In other words, obeying the directive of Boko Haram, shut down the schools. That's an angle that many people have not really thought about, and is something that should be of great concern to everyone.
All right. So now that Uzona One has laid this foundation, so let's look at the government's role now and the action they played. So earlier today or late last night, reports at the quarters of the governor, Nasir El-Rufai, is saying that if the hostages, the Afaka hostages, weren't released, as at the time they were released, the government had already concluded plans to go and bomb the area, saying that Army and the Air Force and all the other operatives had already gotten to the point to know where the hostages were, not minding the collateral damage. He was willing to go ahead with the risks. How do you assess that stance?
Well, I will tell you one thing. In a situation like this, in a kidnap and ransom situation, most of the underlying negotiations and actions that are being taken is different from what the public will hear, because the public is basically agitated, and the parents are pushing, and everybody is worried. And then, of course, the government of Kaduna State is saying they are not going to pay ransom. That is for the public. But in the, on the ground, or should I say, in the back channels, other things are actually going on. And the governor don't have to come out and say that. Because, it's a game of cat and mouse, whereby you are negotiating on a position of strength. And then, of course, the bandits are also trying to seize the initiative by saying that this is what they want. If you don't bring them, we're going to kill them. But usually they don't kill, because these people are their meal tickets. If you kill them, you're not going to get the money again. They know that, but it's a game that both sides will play until we come to a resolution. We have
had the unfortunate developments of the Greenfield situation.
Yes.
Now, a number of students were gruesomely murdered, and the government has even more or less exceeded the deadline given to it by the kidnappers, saying they would kill more if the government doesn't heed to their demands. Now, looking at the Afaka that has thank God it has ended well, but then we also have another bit, grave worry now, looking at the Greenfield situation. So how do you expect that the government would act now? The same, or are you expecting to see a radical change in tactics?
I think the government is doing something. I don't believe that Governor Rufai will say, I'm not paying ransom, and then, of course, sit back in his office. Something is going on, And like I said earlier, they're not going to kill them. All these threats are just to put on the pressure. The day the deadline has been passed, it's about 2 days after the deadline. Nobody has been killed.
They've killed some already. It's in the news.
After the initial,
yes, they've killed two sets. They threatened that they were going to kill. They just went ahead and killed some.
How many?
I can't give you the number right now, but they've killed some of the students from Greenfield University.
I have not read about that.
And kidnappers, we apart from this particular set of kidnappers in the north, kidnappers elsewhere, sometimes they even collect the ransom and still kill.
Of course.
And still kill. So when they say we shouldn't, just say, well, that it's just empty threats, that they wouldn't kill them.
No. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You see, in hostage negotiations, sometimes the threat will come very heavy. They'll tell you, well, in fact, I have negotiated a case where they told me they're going to kill one. I should listen to the phone. While they shot, they were actually shooting around the legs of the guy, and the guy was shouting, "Oh, you're going to kill me, I'm dying, I'm going to, die." And then, of course, they said, "We've killed one, and tomorrow we'll kill another one," like that. But the negotiation went ahead, and by the time we finished, everybody was hale and hearty. We got all of them back. But this is the game. I'm just trying to tell you the kind of game that is being played. But when we come to the real meat of it, where the government says they are not going to pay, negotiation is okay. Ransom payment, no.
Is another.
Because these are two things that people are mixing together.
You're the expert there. I am
Absolutely.
not. But I wouldn't know what the bargaining item there will be in the negotiation if you're not paying ransom.
No, you can decide not to pay ransom, and you can negotiate for other things. Remember, some of their people have been arrested.
Okay.
They could decide to ask for those people.
Amnesty.
No, not amnesty. Ask for those people
that were arrested.
And in this Afaka case now, we have reports that that seems to have been what played out.
Okay, they even had one of their people, or some of them, who were released to them. And then, of course, some money was paid, in the forestry case.
By the parents?
By the parents.
Reportedly.
Reportedly. But that's what we're saying. The payment is a big problem. Negotiate, and if you have a very skillful negotiator, the person will negotiate, to the satisfaction of both parties. Israel has negotiated for a dead soldier, the body for a dead soldier, to be returned to them while they release about 50 Egyptian soldiers back to Egypt.
But the worry
you can
for
negotiate.
Many, right, the worry for many is, okay, the Israel example now, and all the cases that we hear internationally, these are not, random cases.
Yeah, they are not.
One would naturally raise an eyebrow when we hear of kidnappings, and naturally the government swings into action. We hear that perhaps a hostage exchange, release or something like that. But here in Nigeria, it has been the order of the day. And if, like you say now, or like you expect now, no one would be killed, but then that would perhaps be in a setting where you know whom you're dealing with. But in this case, or in the Nigerian situation now, nobody knows, at least from the face of those on the outside, nobody knows whom the government is dealing with. Could it be the same in the Afaka case? Could it be the same set of terrorists? Could it with the Greenfield situation, and of course across the north and indeed the country?
We were having a conversation a few days ago, and someone said that in 2014, when the Chibok kidnap took place, the whole world, went up in rage, asking that the girls be brought back, with the hashtag "Bring Back Our Girls."
Yeah.
But the person now said, lately, nobody is saying anything, and people are students are being kidnapped every day. My response was simple: that when something that is not usual happens, everybody, rise up in protest and complain and all of that. But over time, it has become more like a norm. It has become more like a part of what, common thing that happen around here, where schools are attacked and students taken away. So it doesn't attract so much anger anymore, even from outside of the country. It has been brought down so much.
Commonality.
Exactly, it has been brought down so much. Now, looking at the cases we have all around the country, there could be different reasons for the kidnap. Yes, someone, Sheikh Gumi, said that the kidnappers are angry that they have been marginalized, and the kidnappers in Zamfara axis and in the north, upper northern part of the country, that they're angry that they have been marginalized and government has not treated them well, that they want amnesty and all of that. It's a different collection of situation there. from what is happening down south. Down south could be a different, security experts like him could be able to draw the line to distinguish the elements that make this and the element that make this different from one another.
It comes down to one main problem.
Comes down to one main problem of insecurity, that nowhere is safe. But in order to address it, it might be necessary to look at the cause or the motivating factor. Because if you don't understand what motivates people to take certain kind of actions, you may not be able to stop it. Right. If you understand it, and it will now help to stop all of this.
Okay, let me put you on hold. We have run out of time on this subject, but I wanted to us to accommodate a few more seconds on one of the root causes. And moving on now, there is an existing safe school initiative. Why is it not powerful enough to protect our students in their hallowed chambers? We're seeing people across various cadres of schooling, being subjected to this kind of horrors.
Okay, number one, the Safe School Initiative, which started with about $10,000, is not working. Corruption has eaten that money. Nothing was put on ground. In fact, there is a probe in the National Assembly on that Safe School Initiative, right now. So, about the others, why we are in this particular situation, or why is it lingering so much, is because we are not following the process. When there is a kidnap, we rush down, or we send police to go down there, or politicians go and make statements and they go away. But kidnapping and ransom is a process, and if you follow the process, even the parents themselves will not be so pressurized to even start to look for self-help by going to look for money to pay ransom. But it is a process, and that process should be followed.
All right, gentlemen, we'll allow us to take a breather at this point now. There will be more on Newsweek on TVC News. Please stay with us. So we move on to another issue right here on Newsweek. You're most welcome to the program. Let's talk about another major news story that trended for the most part of last week. Joint security operatives on Thursday night, for one now, killed 9 suspected hoodlums after they repelled an attack on Olu Divisional Police Headquarters in Imo State. Parading the remains of the hoodlums at the police headquarters in Owerri, the Commissioner of Police, Abutu Yaro, says security agents are ever ready to clamp down on all forms of banditry in the state. Prince Oba reports.
This attack came just few hours. A new Commissioner of Police, Abutu Yaro, assumed office in the state with an assurance to residents that he would resist further attacks on police formations and killing of officers. This success is also being recorded 2 days after the state government added 100 more patrol vehicles to the fleet of a joint security team in the state. It came through a joint effort of security agencies to rid the state of forms of criminality it has faced in recent times.
A group of bandits, which euphemistically are referred to as unknown gunmen, attempted to attack Olu Divisional Headquarters and the area command headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force, both in the same location in Olu, the local government headquarters. But these bandits were successfully repelled. The operatives of IG Response Team IRT, in conjunction with special forces and other tactical assets of the command, engaged them in fierce shootout in a bid to dislodge them from the property to be attacked, in a bid to prevent them from killing the policemen working in the police station, and in the ensuing gun-bang battle, they met their Waterloo. However, 4 members of the gallant security forces of Nigeria sustained minor injuries, but no fatality.
The new strategy being adopted will enable security agencies occupy public space to ensure crime and criminality is reduced to its barest minimum in Imo State.
The hoodlums were seen in viral video earlier on around Olu Metropolis, around the area they call Banana Junction, loading themselves in large number, gyrating and making cacophony of noise to overwhelm the general population and instill fear into them. These people, from our inquiry so far, interim reports available to me, are part of the larger criminal gang that attacked the correctional services and the police headquarters on 5th of April 2021.
Among the items recovered from the gunmen include 4 AK-47 rifles, 1 pump action and assorted charms. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
Now let's pick up our discussions from this Olu case. Now, Mr. Makri, this Olu situation appeared to be like the good news in all of the sordid tales of deadly attacks in the South and in the Southeast. Up until today, a few hours ago, we had reports of 2 attacks in Akwa Ibom State, in Rivers State last night or early this morning. About 7 police officers were said to have been killed. But now at least we have a change of story now in the Imo State case. But there does seem to be a reason behind the targets that we are seeing of police stations, and now IPOB is being accused of staging these attacks. From a security analyst point of view now, how staggering is this development, and how do we move on from here?
In fact, there is not just only one good news. There are 2 good news. This one in Imo State and Edo State. Because in Edo State, they actually kidnapped some people, and the police went ahead with other security agencies and then followed them onto their camp, released some of the people that they've kidnapped that were in there, and then they keep on running. They moved into another camp. In fact, that comes to tell us that there are different camps that they have in the bush there. So they were going from one camp to the other, releasing. I think they released up to about 14 people, last night. So that's the good news. And then, of course, this one is also telling us another good news, whereby they caught them in the act, killed a lot of them, and retrieved some arms from them. I would have wished that they even capture some of them, so that during the interrogation they will tell us more about what we want to know, because killing all of them is actually, destroying evidence. Because if they were alive, they should be able to tell us more about who they are, who sent them, how they were managing themselves, and how they grouped together to get to this stage.
Do you agree, though, that this is an IPOB style, and why do you think this is so? Well,
the Commissioner of Police himself has said that they are IPOB members, because he must have got some information, either from somebody who was wounded or somebody, like I said, they need a live person to give some evidence, but he must have, for him to come and announce that. Apparently he has information about that. Well,
Usona Onoye, so ESN, or by extension IPOB, is being banded as the culprits behind these recent attacks. These in a time that we are in where the Ebubeagu network has been launched, but so far we haven't seen much coming from that angle. Initially there was a talk of partnership between Ebubeagu and ESN, but of course we are mindful that one is deemed legal and the other isn't. So how does this whole, how do you view this happenings?
First of all, I think that jumping to the conclusion that this act is being carried out by IPOB is a lazy approach to investigation, because I remember that on the morning after the prison was attacked in Imo State and the command headquarters, the Inspector General of Police then said, said this is IPOB. And the one that the surprise there is how much investigation has it carried out? Did IPOB admit? IPOB that we know, I'm not a sympathizer or an apologist of the group, but the IPOB we know do not carry arms. All we know them to be propagandists that So at some point, we even referred to them as toothless bulldogs. And when they got to this point of making security agencies their target in this manner, should actually be of great concern to many. Because I think, from my thought is that there should have been more done to confirm who these people are. Because if we could be blaming IPOB when we are dealing with something else.
Even though IPOB has this countenance now, the issue of Ebubeagụ.
No, Ebubeagụ is a different organization. But IPOB has also not admitted that they are doing this. IPOB has not admitted that.
And they have not rejected that.
They've not admitted that they are doing this.
Well,
so
they have. They denied outrightly.
They did not deny that they are not the ones. Especially this very last one.
Right.
They've not said that we are not the ones.
But when
the Olu issue.
They said they weren't. But the Inspector General of Police there said they were.
No,
For me, I think that it
remember,
requires more diligent observation and investigation. Because if you are looking at the wrong target, for instance, IPOB, when what we are dealing with is totally different, we may never get the solution.
If
it
you
requires
remember,
more diligent
investigation.
If you remember very well, when the police headquarters situation happened, and the Inspector General, the former Inspector General, came and said that it is IPOB. Of course, I was in this station and I said it, that it couldn't be correct, because no investigative report has been given to him by that time.
All right, gentlemen, we'll just have to, put a pause on our conversation. Time is really not our friend tonight. Dennis Amakre, Uzona Onoye, thank you very kindly for your contributions on Newsweek tonight, and thank you all out there for keeping us company. That's all for now. I'm Kemi Fola Adeyemo. Bye now.